and welcome to another video in my life. This one, as you can tell by the title, because obviously the title gives away everything, I got my G1 driver's license here in Canada. Now, I've been meaning to get this for about a year, but because of COVID-19 and various different times of lockdown and me just not being prepared at all, I just never got around to doing it. But for my field of work, environmental sciences, I think I've mentioned this before, I need a license. I need a G license to be able to get 99.9% of any of the jobs in the field, because you have to carry around equipment and go to site visits and everything. So it's something that I've had on top priority of things I need to do if I want to get back into my field and start working in my field again here, which is the ultimate goal. And so I went through the process to at least start, which is to get my G1 license. So in Canada, you have to go through 3 steps usually. I think when you're legally allowed, I'm not even going to go into those details because I don't know. But I think when you're 16, 18, I don't know, 16, I don't know. When you're legal enough to get your permit, which is what the G1 license is, then you go and you do a written test, which has information about the rules of driving in Canada and also signage. You have to be able to identify signs. And then after about a year, or if you have a year or I'm not sure. You can check the website for all the details. But after about a year of driving experience, then you can go for your G2, which is a level up. And then after that, you can go and do your G license, which is your full license, which means you can drive on highways, you know, all the rules, and you have enough experience to drive on your own. So the first 2 series, the G1 and the G2, you have to drive or be accompanied by a driver, or G2, you don't need a driver. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know. If you want those details, go on the website. But anyways, back to the one I did, G1. So in Jamaica, however, I did have my driver's license. I didn't really drive. I don't like to drive. I don't know how to park well. Parallel parking, I'm just terrified of driving. And my parents had like a big car, a Suzuki Vitara, or they have a Suzuki Vitara. So I always felt like I would crash into something with that car. And I have actually crashed into things with that car, including my sister's gate, or own gate, just any gate in general. So I have experience. I got my license 14 years ago. So in Canadian standards, if you're not up from a country where you can just exchange the license immediately, countries like that include Japan, the UK, Australia, I think. But Jamaica, we don't have that arrangement with them. So you have to go through the graduated driving series to get your fully licensed. You can't just switch it over. So I had to first get a letter from the Jamaican embassy. No, not Jamaican embassy, sorry, the Jamaican consulate here, that proves that I have driving experience. And it's very easy to get. You just have to contact the Jamaican consulate, tell them what you want. They'll give you information on what to do. You have to send a money draft, I think it was $40, to the consulate to get them to write the letter. Here's the letter. And it basically says Jamaican driver's license. It has my driver's license number, my name. Consulate of Jamaica hereby certifies the driver's license, bearing the name of Lydia, was originally issued April 24th, 2007. Wow! So, I mean, like almost exactly 14 years ago, I got my first license in Jamaica, and now I got my first license in Canada. That's so cute. And it also has the date of birth and everything. So that's the proof that I have from the Jamaican consulate that I have driving experience. So for me, that means I can skip the G1 test and just go straight to the G test after I did the road test, because everyone has to do the written test to prove that they have knowledge of Canadian driving and how the roads work. Because as you know, in Canada, they drive on the right side of the road. Meanwhile, in Jamaica, we drive on the left side of the road. So that even things like that on the rules, you have to understand. And honestly, the test wasn't that hard, but only because I've legit been practicing every day for 2.5 weeks, just constantly doing these practice tests that I have on an app on my phone that I have. And I'll try and just insert some screen grab of like what that app is and how it works. It has a lot of the road rules and the signs, and it basically gives you a general idea of the questions that might come on the test based on what you would read in the driving book. So I didn't get the driving book. I didn't spend $15 and buy that. I just practiced on the app, constantly doing practice tests and ensuring that I remembered all the rules and all the answers. So when I got there eventually to do the test, like all of the answers were there except for two that I never saw in the driving testing, but I just used my head and maths it out and worked it out eventually. So now, how and where did I go? Because of COVID-19 and the lockdown, there's a lot of backlog with persons trying to get their driver's license and do the road test. So usually you could go to a few drive centers, but the one downtown near to where I work, they're fully booked out constantly, and it's a smaller one. So I had to go all the way to Downsview Park, which has a drive test center there. Now Downsview Park is about an hour away from where I live. So I just went straight after, but luckily it closes at 7 p.m. So I just went straight after work at 4, and I got there around 5. And there wasn't much of a lineup. I'll show you like a clip of the lineup that was there. It wasn't that bad. But in total, from lining up to when I did the test, finished the test, and then left there, it was about almost 2 hours in total being there. The lineup, I had to wait in line for almost an hour, and then doing the test, so almost 2 hours. But I'm grateful that at least there was somewhere I could go after work. That was a convenience that I did appreciate, because I didn't want to take off work to do this thing, which is why I had been putting it off for so long to begin with. So I got there, I joined the line. Of course, you have to wear a mask and social distance. And then I went up to the counter. Now, the only problem is, or was, when I first arrived in Canada, I got the reason why I got it was to be able to get things easier. So having proof of address on my address, on my bank accounts, using it to rent things, I needed the Ontario photo ID. So usually you'd have photo. Once you're of age, you get either your driver's license as your ID that you can use to do most like things with. But because I didn't have a driver's license, or the alternative for anyone who doesn't have a driver's license is the Ontario photo ID. That costs about $35, and I got it last year. When I registered, I checked everything on it. I checked my name, my address, and my date of birth. And then 2 weeks later, when I got the card, my date of birth was incorrect. And I was like, okay, it's just an ID card. Maybe it doesn't matter. Whatever, we'll just leave it there. And I think online it said, because of COVID, I didn't want to try and get in I didn't want to join any more lines, to be honest. I just didn't want to join any more lines. So I kept that for a year with the wrong date of birth, and that came back and bit me in the ass, because when I went to the counter to register my driving experience with the letter from the Jamaican consulate, my old driver's license, they said the problem on the system is you have to register with that photo ID that I have, and because the photo ID has the wrong date of birth, I'd have to change the date of birth and then come back. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Can I just do the test? I've been waiting in line for 45 minutes. Let me just do the test. And they're like, okay, so what you can do is do the test. Once you pass the test, just go to Service Ontario and change the ID, and then change the date of birth, and then it would change on the system. So I was like, cool, thanks. So I have to still go back there to be able to register my driving experience with the updated forms that I got. But after waiting 45 minutes in line, I just wanted to get there for what I wanted to do, which was to do the test. Because I wear glasses, I had to do a vision test, which was hilarious. So it's one where you just read some numbers in front of you, and then another one with some lights flashing to the side. So they flash a light and you have to say which side. And I'm one of those persons who I don't know the left from the right. So I was like, right, left, right left. But I passed that, and then I went into the little room to use a computer to do my written test. um and like I said, so it's split into 24, it's 40 questions in total and split in half. So the first part is the theory, and the second part is the signs, just identification of signs and being able to know what they do. And I got 2 wrong for the theory, which wasn't bad, and then 1 wrong for the signs. So I'm very proud of myself. And I was so nervous, like my heart was beating during the exam, because I don't like exams. I don't like stressful exam situations. I always get nervous and feel like I'm gonna throw up. But it was easy. It was easy. I mean, everyone told me it would be easy, and I had been practicing for like 2 weeks every day straight. So I passed. And then I went to the counter, and they give you the temporary driver's license. So this one, it just, you can go ahead and start driving with it. It's in without photo card in place of that. But because it had the wrong date of birth, of course I had to go and get that changed. So I left the drive center happy as ever, but I was exhausted. And that was on Thursday. Now Friday was Good Friday, so Service Ontario was closed, and there was one in the city that was open on a Saturday. So I had a plan. I actually had work the night before, so I left work. I got home, I got the documents, and then I went straight to Service Ontario, because that one opened at 9 o'clock. So I wanted to get there for at least 8:30, and they only take 100 people on that Saturday. So I wanted to make sure I was there, and I got there for 8:15, and I thought they wouldn't be open, but they were already open. Like 5 people were already in line, and everything was so fast there. By the time I arrived and updated my information, I got through in like 20 minutes. So I was so grateful for that, not having to wait too long in line, being there on time, and having that completed. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the information is entered in the system fast enough where they won't print the wrong birth date on the card if it were, on the the ID that they sent on Thursday. Hopefully the holiday break and everything, the card will come with the right information. But that was complete. So now I have the ability to drive in Canada, but I have to do it under the supervision of someone who has had their license for at least 4 years, the G license. And I don't know anyone who has. But I can start doing driving school and everything, which is the next step, what I have planned to do in the next month or 2 months. We'll see how I work out with my budget. But that's it. That's the story of me getting my driver's license, my G1 driver's license. I'm very happy. I'm very excited. And reaching goals is amazing. I'm very happy for that. But anyways, nothing else to say. I'll give you an update later if I ever go to driving school and pass the test. And by the way, there's such a backlog with all the G tests that I don't even think I'd be able to schedule a road test until maybe July, August. That's how bad it is. So we'll see how that goes. So that's it. I got my license. I'm so happy. This has been one of the best weeks of my life. Till next time. Bye.